Hey guys, how we doing? I guess we can't go this way today. We are at one of the many dams here on the Androscoggin River. This happens to be in Berlin, New Hampshire. We're going to take a little tour today and show you what this city, the New Hampshire's most northern city, is all about. But before we do that, I figured I should show you how that we even got a city up here in the first place, or why that it actually managed to stay. And this dam is one of those many reasons. This dam here is one of, I think, 20 that is on the Androscoggin River. It goes up from the town of Errol, New Hampshire, down to Brunswick, Maine. And in the case for here, this hydroelectric spot helped power the mill. And when Berlin kind of started to take off in the 1800s, it was because of these. It was because of the water rapids, that would allow them to generate enough of the power to run their mills. So right now we're in the downtown, say the Maine Street part of Berlin. We'll go back that way in a bit so you can see this quintessential Main Street community. What's cool though, let me show you this building. I don't know if you can see the details of this. This building's from 1905, but what I like is you can see like that metal for the trim, if you will. The trim's not the right word, but I think you know what I'm talking about. That's where the Berlin Daily Sun is. And we'll go down that way in a few minutes. But what's really kind of sad to me, but this is the story of this city, is it's had so many waves, like prosperity versus no prosperity. What was the mainstay for this place back in the 1800s and really the early 1900s with the paper mills and stuff like that. Once those shut down, the town was in a lot of rough shape. I can't tell. I think we're passing the theater, but I'm not sure. This building right here, and I see a church in the distance, so I figured we would hit that church. And then I don't know if you can see this, but I'll point it out to you. So when you look at like photographs of the city, you usually see this rock ledge right here. I don't know what this is called, but it's usually in photographs. But to the left of it, and you might be able to catch a glimpse or not, but there is a distinct church way in the distance on top of the hill, right near the Catholic school. And that church is an Orthodox church. It actually was originally a Russian Orthodox church, and I'll show you that in a bit. But I want to go down here first because I'm going to find some homes right on the water, I think. We're passing the fire department right here, and then right across the street is the library. And they have this huge book. I guess I can cross the street. Little bowling alley, and then the church is in the background. But the big giant book right here. So this was founded in 1893. It's a Carnegie library, so it was a donation from our quintessential robber baron. I don't think Mr. Carnegie will hold that against me again. 1905 too, with the original Berlin Fire Department. Now these bring me back here because these bowling alleys, like even here when you look at the architecture for it, it's very cute. And then literally right across the street, you got the river going by. Now we actually have a couple churches here. You got the Catholic Church kind of looming over in the background, and then we've got the Episcopalian one right here, St. Barnabas. Well, we'll try to get in both. Oh, sorry, got distracted because look at the water. It's pretty. All right. The St. Barnabas was closed, so we're cutting this way. We're going to check out this Catholic church. I hope this is the church I want to go to. There was some vaulted ceilings. Well, we're going to say vaulted because it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, but honestly, I don't. There was a church here in town I wanted to check out that I thought was very interesting, and I think it's this one. Better be. So this is St. Anne's Catholic Church, and yes, this is the one I wanted to go into. Hopefully they will let me in. And right next door is the Catholic school, I believe. We're going to go out on a limb for that one. We managed to get in, and it is as beautiful as I thought it was in the pictures. Wow. Take a look at this place. You have your Stations of the Cross. This place is magnificent. Look at the ceilings. And it'll cut through. But I don't know, there's something just really, really special about this chapel. And it's so quiet. There's like it's almost like an eeriness about it when you're walking through. Like you get that whiff of the burning incense or whatever is left of it. But look at that. And then when you turn, look at the stained glass. Wow. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, usually we don't stay in a church so long, but I want to point out some of the details they put into this. Look at the angels right there, like holding on to, the way they set it up, where they're holding on to a lamp. But then, if you look up, away from the altar right here, there is, I don't know where to go. Lion right there. And there's the dove. Wow. That exceeded my expectations, that church. And if I saw right, or if I read right, I think they started in 1899, and then, yeah, never mind. I was a translate something, but it's in French. So again, not to lose some kind of sight of everything in the city. Everything is connected to the river right here. Without the river, this community would never have existed. The church, that large church, the large French-speaking population that came down here to log and to work in the mills, they wouldn't have come down here. When I was a kid, growing up, we were always told to never come to Berlin because of the smell. I mean, I suppose there would have been a bit of a smell from the paper mill, but that's long gone now. It's downstream. I think the only paper mill left is in Gorham, which is like 5 miles downstream. Could be wrong, but that reputation that this city got years ago, this is not the same. It's not the same spot. This is like a recreational dream. Beautiful river. A lot of trails for the UTVs, ATVs, for the four-wheelers, as I like to call them. In fact, you'll see them commonly on these roads. It's funny, you can tell kind of like who the non-locals are. I mean, I'm purposely dressed a bit more flamboyantly than I usually am. Not that the camera wouldn't give it away. Look at this cute little dog right here. You know what, actually, though? Let me show you something. This is one thing. So this is the American Legion that we just walked by. And I will say this, you know, well, you don't know this, but I know this, is you actually hear it, like, from, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this. So, this is a big pro-military community, and as a veteran, of course, something that I can relate to, but I think one of the reasons why there was such a large number of people that end up joining the military that grew up in this part of New Hampshire is it's a way to get out and to see the world. I'll show you on the map where we are in the Great North Woods with Mount Washington looming in the background, Mount Adams. It really is it's a unique location. Here's another old building. This is from 1904. And if you keep going straight, you end up to their Veteran Memorial Park, which is why that I'm able to say, hey, it's a big deal here. Before we get back in the car, because I have to drive over to some spots, I did want to point out, like, there's a lot of, it's definitely a transitional community, because there was like a wedding dress place that is now closed. So now we're going to get on look at this lifted truck right here. It's how you know we're not in the seacoast part of New Hampshire or in other places. We're going to drive to our next spot so you can see it. But before we do that, see, look, part of the community right there. You'll note just varying types of architecture. A lot of like row apartment buildings like this right here. But then you also have like single family homes. Some are in better shape than others. Now what we're gonna do, if I can figure out how to do this again, is swing over. It's a little bleak. Thankfully, I've been here enough times that I kind of know like where we're going, if that makes sense. And I think this is just a New Hampshire thing too, is you just use your landmarks. So see how we're just going right up this road right here? Several years ago, I wanted to apply for a teaching job in this area, and my mom said I was nuts. Then she reminded me that this was the same city that back in the 80s, those priests that had bad reputations were sent up here. Not sure exactly what that was all about, but I do know that did occur. So here's the old Catholic school right here. And I don't know if this church is still being used or not. But let's see if I can figure out how to get us here. We're trying to get to the high point of town, if you will, well, of this neighborhood. So I might have cut it too short. But hey, at least you get to look at the houses. But going back to my story anyways, yeah, it didn't pan out because I felt like I was just a little bit too isolated, if that makes sense. All right, it's a beautiful house, but where's the... Okay. I've gotten myself turned around. Big surprise. We're on all these little neighborhoods here. and my Orthodox church, which I could see from the road, from the other church that we were, I knew where it was in vicinity, but it's a whole different thing when you're actually like driving and being like, wait, do I turn here or not? But I seem to have found it, or at least we're getting closer. You can see it straight ahead. We just have to figure out which side street to take. I should have known. It's on Russian Street. What? You don't believe me? Here, let me show you. First of all, here's Holy Resurrection Orthodox Church right behind us. And when I moved back to New Hampshire, when I used to teach over in the country of Italy, and when I moved back and settled in New Hampshire, one of my first trips I took during the pandemic, this is after the fact, was actually up here to see this church. But see what I mean? You have Russian Street right here. Well, we were rushing to get here. No, in all seriousness, though, it is this church. They built it because back in I think the 1920s, there was a large Russian-speaking population that came here from Minsk, for example. They had some other cities, I don't remember them, but we'll just say Minsk. So they came here to work, and they wanted to have a community, a religious community, that they could still, do the worshiping that they wanted. So this church was founded then, and then as the years went on, and the congregation grew, became more diverse, and people moved away, some moved in, they switched from the old church Slavonic, if I remember right, to the English language, and it went from a Russian Orthodox church to an Orthodox church. What I like, though, and I got to point this out again, different street name. There is Petrograd Street, and here she is. The only Orthodox church that I know of in this part of, in this region. I think there's one in Manchester, but that's 2 hours south. But, yeah, this was built in 1915. Uh-oh. Guys see what I see? The spy. Right there. Groundhog. There he goes. He's trying to get lower so we don't see him. I'm very confident this place is closed, but we can try it anyway. But I'm pretty sure it's closed. It's only open on Saturdays. On Sundays. While we can't get into the place, I will show you something, though. Here's a little dedication. I can't pronounce this one. Svieto Voskresenskaya Ruskaya Pravoslavnaya Sirkov. And then in 1915. 1915 году. Something like that. Russian's a little shaky. But there you go. So if you want to see this place, come back on a Sunday morning, I think. All right, so now we're going to go away from the churches and see what we can find over here. We still haven't crossed over the river. It's just homes and stuff like that. This is really where all the cool stuff is. Yeah, that's the ticket. The cool stuff. We just passed Fagan's Pub. Looks promising. But I remember from my drives up here, so if you're on this side of the river, you get some really beautiful views of the Androscoggin, but also of some really cute houses. God, again. I rolled my left foot earlier today. Now I just rolled my right one. But here's the Androscoggin right here. And again, you take this road and go up towards the Arrow area, and you will feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. It's a little bit eerie. It's pretty cool though, seeing the river on both sides, or maybe lakes and rivers. I won't spoil it, but you should check it out. But here's the river. Got some ball fields over there, and then it's very, very nice. And what we'll do is, let's see if we can go up here on this little overpass, show you a different vantage point. I don't remember this river walk being here before. But look at this right here. So here's the old 1915, this was a bridge. And I'm a little bit scared, even though it's quite solid. But see, if you're a canoeer, a kayaker, or whatever you are, this looks like a fun little spot to go in. The only catch, though, I don't know if you can see through this, but you gotta look out for that dam. Look out for the dam. Look out for the part where the water goes over the edge. That'd probably be okay. Probably okay. I was not expecting this. I thought it was more of just a hot spot for those all-terrain vehicles. But the views here are amazing. And it's too bad. The camera's not going to do it justice, but in the background right there, you do. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the backside of Mount Washington. If not Mount Washington, then it's one of the presidential mountains. It's cool though. So I'm laying down now so I can show you this view. Look at this. Amazing. Let's even zoom in for you. Look at that. Isn't that great? And I'm like 95% sure that's Mount Washington behind it. Oh, and because I'm here about disclaimers. No smell. No smell at all in 2024. Quiet neighborhood over here, other side of the river, where, yeah, life takes over. Berlin has, I think, a population of like 10,000. It's a decent-sized city. Decent size for New Hampshire, that is. Largest city here in the Great North Woods. So as we come back from over there, one thing I noticed here on the ground that made me laugh is the kindness rocks. This was popular 2016, I think. And what it was is you take a kindness rock, you take one, and then you put like another one there. And it's very popular in New Hampshire, probably popular in some other places as well. But I just found it right here, this whole little thing. I don't have a rock though to share, so I didn't take one. Maybe next time. Look at the view. I'm trying to zigzag across. Gotta cross the river to the cemetery I want to check out. We're on the other side of the river now. After much driving, because I got confused, I had originally driven to the Hillside Cemetery, which has a great view, but was completely, it's very, very new, relatively speaking. So I did find the Catholic cemetery right here. This is the St. Anne Cemetery. I know it's part of our prerequisite to got to visit some churches, got to walk around town, and, you know, we should check out a cemetery while we're at it. So that's where we are. And I should have known when I came here, I should have looked first on my map, because honestly, it wouldn't have taken much to just look and be like, oh yeah. So we clearly have found the older ones. The Leclercs. can see how the erosion has taken down some of the stones, where like these ones look like they're being swallowed up by the ground. See that? Like this one right here, you can't even see the dates anymore. It's either that or the tombstone's broken off, but I'm pretty sure, I think it's just the erosion. It's kind of interesting. So the hospital's basically right across the street, and then if you go down that road over that way, you go to where the prison is. And the prison has been quite a bit of a lifesaver for this community. After they shut down the mills, if I remember right, the paper company shut down, then it was when the federal prison came in. I think it's 400 beds. It's a women's prison. That, brought more jobs. And that's important for any community to survive. So again, the cemetery is just in different states. You can see some tombstones that are in good condition, and then others that are being swallowed up by the ground. So what's fascinating is just a little bit down the road, on both sides of the street is all cemetery. You have the new city cemetery on that side. You go down that way, there's an Ace Hardware store, and right on the right next to it is the old city cemetery. And then where I'm standing right now is actually the Russian cemetery, or I guess what remains of it. Look, you have Konstantin and his wife, Yekaterina Alkovitz. And then the fact that, this is an older cemetery too, because note how you just have the wooden crosses. There's no other marker. Definitely has a different type of energy to it. Well, I don't think I've shown you a cemetery like this before. It's interesting, though, they label this on Google Maps as the Russian cemetery, but, aside from the Bukovitz family right here, and James, and Vera, and Claudia, and Vlada, and then the Savchiks over there, I'm not really seeing a lot of Russian names. Huh. Still, if you like cemeteries, you got plenty to explore. I know it's always the biggest selling point to any of my vlogs. There's one more, and then we're hitting the road. So, a little bit down, and it's hidden from sight. And note how I'm driving in on this. This is the Jewish cemetery here in town. I hope no one blocks me in, because I'm not going to be able to get out. Huh. Now, we could unhatch this and go in, but we'll be respectful. So I guess this is the community Jewish cemetery over here. It was dedicated in 1946. I love the little purple flowers that are growing. But you can see how it's well kept closer over to those areas. What I am noticing, though, and this is what I was trying to see from a distance, and maybe there are if you get closer, but I only see a couple that are actually written in Hebrew. I'm more fascinated by the fact that this is completely off the beaten path. Unless you're Jewish, you're probably not going to know this is here. Or unless you can't read Google Maps. But even if you read Google Maps and if you're coming from the road, it's not marked. Huh. Well, Berlin, you have surprised me. Well, with the beautiful views in front of us, we're back to where we started our tour and the first hydroelectric dam. So I hope you enjoyed our walk around, our driving tour, church exploration, all that fun stuff here in Berlin. If you're into getting out in nature, this is probably a really good place to start. You can head into those trails. I know we didn't do that, but it's a good spot to do this. So, all right, guys, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you again real soon. Peace.